the secret of Israel, it is because in their midst, they have a prophet. So they said, we have tried to fight with them physically. For there was war. The Bible says, Are versus Are. The Bible says there was a battle. And they could not win the people of Israel. So they discovered, they said, why did we lose the battle? Not once. So they said, the only thing we can do, we must also have a prophet. No, are you here? So the Bible says they looked for a prophet. And when they found a prophet, they said to the prophet, they said, we want to hire you. We are fighting with Israel. But when we are fighting with those men, when we are fighting with those women, we are failing to conquer them. Because in their midst, there is a prophet. So now we want also to have a prophet. So that this will not be our war. It will be a war between a prophet and a prophet. Now. Bring those prophets. Whosoever is coming against you in the name of a prophecy, I am also standing here on your side. You didn't hear me. Whether this person now. So the Bible says when they took this man, hear me, this man was not a prophet of God, but the Bible says he was able to see through things. No, you didn't hear me. And the man was hired. Now the difference now between a true prophet and a false prophet is one thing. Even if the person can see some true things, the only thing they want to see are the things of the Spirit of God. Amen. So the Bible says they hired a prophet. But the prophet said, before I go, he says, I want an altar. He says, you must build me an altar. Are you here? Yeah. They hired the prophet. He said, before I prophesy to or on your behalf, he said, I need an offering. And the king and the people, they gave offerings to Balaam. He said, now I can go. So he took a horse. He took a donkey. And began to ride it. Going to prophesy. Because now it's not a war of weapons. It is a war of prophets. You may not know and you may not even understand it. But if I've got spiritual ears, hear me. There are words which were spoken against you. It is the same words every day I come on this altar. I speak words opposite what has been said by the devil about you. Now you are not understanding me. This is not a war of finances. This is not a war of your marriage. It is a war between a prophet versus a prophet. A certain voice of the devil said that you will die. I come here and I say you shall live. There is a certain voice that says you are poor in your family. I come here and I say you are rich. It is Ari against Ari. You may not know the secret of the people of Israel, but their secret, they had a prophet in their midst. I'm trying to talk. Can I talk? This is why there are people who are in our midst, in our ministry, in our church. They don't know the power of the prophets in their midst. Go and ask Paul. Ask Paul, he will tell you. He made a mistake. He ignored the prophet in his midst. When he saw that what the prophet had said came to pass, he took a pen and wrote to Timothy. He said, my son Timothy, from now onwards, whatever prophecy you ever received, he said, pay attention to it. Yes. You didn't hear me. He said, no. My son Timothy, listen. He said, if you pay attention, he said, you will fight a good spiritual warfare. This is Paul writing himself. That was not enough. He went again. He said, my son Timothy, remember the word of prophecy, which was given to you by the elders when they laid their hands on you. He said that word of prophecy, he said, remember it. That was not enough. Paul says when God was going up to heaven, when Jesus was going up to heaven, he made some to be prophets, some to be apostles. That was not enough. Paul says, no, there's a problem here. He says, desire spiritual gifts, especially the gift of prophecy. Then he says in 1 Corinthians 14 verse 31, he says, for the spirit of prophets is under the control of prophets. Someone came to me and they said, my father, I don't know if I'm wrong or not, but the Lord was speaking to me that tomorrow you must not travel. I said, He said, because the Lord spoke to me that something's going to happen. I said, listen, because you're not supposed to prophesy there tomorrow. I said, listen, the spirit of prophets is under the control of a prophet. It is a prophet who wants to prophesy or not. The Lord will not come and stop a prophet. The Bible says the spirit of prophecy is under the subject. During the day, Salvation Sea was teaching about it. You see, what people make a mistake is they pray. They think it is based on their prayer that the eyes will open or they'll begin to experience the supernatural. It doesn't happen like that. God puts up a spirit upon someone. And then he brings people around him. He says, the spirit that I have put on him shall come upon you. That's true. Yes. And if in 1 Samuel chapter 10, the Bible says, the spirit of prophecy from the group of prophets came upon Saul. And Saul began to prophesy. And the people said, is Saul also a prophet? For that which was on prophets had come upon Saul. So prophetic, it is a spirit of someone. When God puts it upon somebody, it becomes a spirit of the person. This is why a prophet is able to transfer wealth, because it's a spirit. A prophet is able to transfer deliverance. It's a spirit. This is why if I enter in a room like this, even if your eyes are closed, but you will know that your spirit can sense it.